Conor McGregor is the most overrated fighter of all time. It's a controversial statement that might actually have some truth to it. If we take a look at his fight history, it is somewhat underwhelming. I can't completely discredit him, as he did dominate in cage warriors and then burst into the UFC, going on to win 5 times in a row before obtaining the interim championship in his fight against Chad Mendes. Conor looked incredible so far, and then delivered one of the biggest upsets in UFC history when he knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds. This is, in my opinion, the peak of Conor's career. He had just won the featherweight title and it looked like he was about to face Nate Diaz, which at this point in time was the biggest UFC pay-per-view fight ever. He would go on to lose this fight, and lose badly. He started off okay. He was able to land a couple decent shots, but was ultimately outclassed on the night. His stamina failed him, which has been a reoccurring issue, especially in the rematch against Nate and his fight against Khabib. Shame his dad isn't a pharmacist. A couple months pass and now we have the Nate Diaz rematch. In the opening rounds, Conor looks amazing. He's showing off his striking, but towards the end of the fight, Nate began to also find his feet and turn the fight into a complete war. In a controversial decision, Conor did win, which set up a massive fight against Eddie Alvarez, which gave Conor the opportunity to become the UFC's first ever two-division champion. Honestly, in my opinion, this is Conor's best ever performance. He outclassed Eddie Alvarez on the night, and then in the second round, hit him with one of the cleanest striking combinations I have ever seen that resulted in Conor winning the lightweight title and making history. After this fight, Conor was offered the financial opportunity of a lifetime, a boxing match against Floyd Mayweather, which he would reportedly make around $100 million from. This amount of money meant that Conor had created generational wealth for his family, which is an achievement that nobody could take away from him. However, all this success would kill his love for MMA and prove to negatively impact his UFC career.
After a 2-year break, Conor would come back to face Khabib at UFC 229. The whole build-up to this fight showed a mentally weak Conor, who kind of looked like he was losing his mind at times, especially after the bus incident when he attacked Khabib and his team backstage.
Friend of mine slapped him and abused him on foreign soil. Your own people, you little rat.
You can send me, hey, you have problem with my brother or teammate, something like this, you give him slap, now you have to give answer. Okay, I'm gonna come.
Conor McGregor's team attacked our bus.
I'm here. Send me a message, like location, I'm gonna come.
There was a warrant out for Conor McGregor's arrest.
I just want to say I'm thankful to the DA and the judge for allowing me to move forward.
In my opinion, Conor didn't look terrible in this fight. A lot of people have said that Khabib completely mauled him, but I can't see that. Conor, who isn't a wrestling guy, defended Khabib's takedowns pretty well and also gave Khabib a good fight when they were standing. Khabib was still able to land a couple takedowns and do a lot of damage to Conor, and in the 4th round, knocked him down and got him in a submission, which resulted in Conor giving up and tapping out. After 2 years, Conor has this long-awaited comeback fight against a 97-year-old crippled Donald Cerrone, who he beats in the 1st round by a knockout. Now moving on to his real comeback fight, we have Dustin Poirier, who is an opponent that he has faced before, but since then Dustin has moved up a weight class and shown a lot of improvement. In this fight, Conor got smacked about for an entire 2 rounds and ultimately lost after Dustin landed about 600 leg kicks, which left Conor drifting around the wheelchair. Now moving on to his most recent fight, we have the trilogy fight against Dustin. Conor was looking himself again, and in the 1st round he was also looking good, but in the closing seconds of this fight, he stepped backwards and his legs snapped, which resulted in another unfortunate loss for Conor. Do I really think Conor is overrated? No, not really. I think he's probably the most impactful fighter ever in the UFC, but I do think he could have done more. He didn't defend his title once, which is strange because any good champion has a couple title defences. I do feel like the money he made against Mayweather killed his love for fighting and played a massive role in his downfall. Since Conor's injury, suspicious things have also been happening. For example, he's been taken out of the USADA testing pool and since then is transformed into what looks like an Irish Alistair Overeem. But is he actually on PEDs? He probably took something to aid in his recovery after the leg break, but to be honest, I don't have a clue. And even if he has taken something, then it doesn't even really matter because the majority of the top fighters are on something and just haven't been popped yet.
I don't even know why it was such a big thing in the first place. You know, I beat him fair and square the first time and off of steroids, and I beat him the second time off of steroids.
But to conclude, I think Conor's ability as a fighter is overrated by some people, but that doesn't mean he still isn't an incredible fighter. He was the first ever two-division champion and also single-handedly introduced the world to MMA. And at the end of the day, there is definitely more overrated fighters.